President Trump has now wrapped up the first day of an important state visit to China. He wants China's president to help crack down on North Korea's nuclear weapons program by cutting down on trade there. Nearly all of China's trade with the Hermit Kingdom flows through the Chinese city of Dandong. North Korea is just half a mile away across a river. Tracy went to Dandong to see if China is making good on promises to follow recent UN sanctions. He is in Beijing now. Good morning.
Good morning. Without China, North Korea would likely collapse. That's because China accounts for about 90% of trade with Kim Jong-un's isolated regime. And some of the money that China has spent on things like North Korean clothing, North Korean coal, has likely helped pay for that country's weapons program. But now there is evidence that China is becoming a less generous neighbor.
This is what trade between China and North Korea looks like. Trucks loaded with goods passing over this single-lane bridge spanning the Yalu River. Chinese tourists flock here to Dandong to get a glimpse of their notorious neighbor.
So we can't shoot on this street?
Journalists are less welcome. 10 minutes after we arrived on a street line with North Korean businesses, we were stopped by Chinese police.
They want to take you to the police station.
The police deleted our video of goods being sent to North Korea. So we used an iPhone to shoot this footage from a building nearby. We saw what appeared to be construction materials and heavy machinery heading towards the bridge. It's often hard to tell what's being moved between China and North Korea in these trucks. The Chinese government says it is strictly enforcing all United Nations sanctions. Those now include a ban on exports of North Korean coal, iron, and textiles. But in August, China purchased 1.6 million tons of North Korean coal, worth nearly $140 million, just days before the sanctions went into effect. Overall, the Chinese government claims its trade with North Korea has dropped significantly.
But China still refuses to cut North Korea off at the knees because it fears if the regime collapses, refugees from here in North Korea will stream across the border here into China. And worse yet, they will see the U.S. military just across this river.
Some Chinese traders may be violating the sanctions, including the ban on North Korean seafood. Off camera, this woman at Dandong's fish market admitted some of her fish came from North Korea. When we turned the camera on, she said it was all from China.
So none of this fish is from North Korea?
No, she says, nobody would dare sell any. This Chinese seafood trader asked us to conceal his identity. He says his business is down 60% because of the sanctions.
To your knowledge, is North Korean seafood still being imported into China?
Yes, definitely yes, he says. It's a very long border, and you can't watch everyone.
How is North Korean seafood still getting into China?
Chinese fishermen go over the border to North Korea, he says, or meet in international waters.
China is helping ensure that the North Korean regime survives by significantly boosting its exports of grain and corn. North Korea faces chronic food shortages, and China is literally its lifeline. Gayle?
Thank you, Tracy, reporting from Beijing.